hi guys, I'm Eric from Alotech. It's great to be over here to meet you guys again. We've not been here in Hong Kong for quite a long time since COVID, so it's so good to be here again. So Alotech in long form is actually Element Technology. So we see aspects of cablecraft like geometry, braidworks, ratios, purity, conductivity. So all these aspects of cablecraft, we see them as elements. So we at Alotech, we pride ourselves on innovators. So we try to organize with these different aspects of cablecraft to have them made into the derived at the final result of a cable. Yeah. So for Element Technology itself, we try to combine these different aspects of cablecraft into a cable itself. With all these kind of different aspects of cablecraft, like geometry, materials, and everything, so every one of them plays an intricate part in the cablecraft itself. So there's no tool makers with the same set of materials will be able to create a different, similar profile of sound. It's because of the different philosophy that we induce into our cablecraft in terms of geometry, how we actually plan the geometry out, how we design the cable itself, and we try to implement them in different kind of conductivity, purity, and everything that creates a different kind of sound. And for us, we have our own source of philosophy to cablecraft. So how we tune our cables is usually through a different myriad of options itself. So like for there's a lot of people thinking that copper should sound like copper without highs, silver should be highs without bass and everything. So with Alotech itself, we spend a lot of time in terms of prototyping and tuning itself. So we try to use different kind of aspects of cablecraft, like solder is one of them, as well as playing around with the purity and conductivity and designing the geometry itself to create a sound profile that we want with the material catalyst that we have. So a traditional silver might not be just a traditional silver with a different kind of implementation itself. Yeah. I'm always being inspired and I'm interested in the Renaissance arts itself, so the fine arts of Renaissance, high Renaissance. So I get a lot of inspiration from their architecture style, their design language, their color, their theme, and everything. And I feel that it is a period where there's a lot of improvement in terms of design as well as creativity. So when we started Alotech itself, we wanted to base our inspiration of the brand on something that will be able to inspire us years down the road. So hence, we decided to use Renaissance as a theme. With the traditional 7-core itself, is that we are not able sometimes to achieve the sound profile that we want in a 4-wire, which is why there's a lot of implementation 8 wires itself. But I feel that ergonomics is something that's really important to me. So we've always been trying to increase the amount of materials able to be packed into the installation without increasing the wire counts itself. So that was when we actually have the thought of why not try a 9-core. But the challenge with the 9-core is that the interior diameter is only that much. So what we have to do is to first maximize the area efficiency so that we can include more materials into the installation itself. So we've had a lot of failures at the start. It was almost physically not possible, but we managed to decrease the entire core size without decreasing the strand size itself. So it was a huge work that we managed to complete within recent years itself. The reason why we split them into 3, or actually 4 if you count the Dante series. So the reason why we split them into different series is because for every series, when we approach the cable craft, we approach the product design, we actually approach them with a different philosophy. With Virtues, we wanted something that is highly performing, high performance to value itself. So the Virtues itself is always gonna house cables that add values to the entry-level market. Something that using traditional materials, but it doesn't sound like just a copper, it's just a silver-plated copper, that kind of realm. And it's not something that is, flagship level that really add values to the market itself. So with School of Athens, we explore something that's purity. We wanted to explore things that are mono material. It could be a mono copper, which is the Socrates, mono silver, which is the Plato, and perhaps some mono gold components in the future. Something that is pure, that is not so mixed with this and that. So it's a very mono pure referencey in terms of materials wise. So Parensis is something that we really spend a lot of time on because it's something that really challenges us. We explore things that is fun, exotic and even materials that is less used on the market, as well as designs that are flagship worthy. This is something really interesting for us also. So if you notice in our products, we do not have every cable in 8 wires. Okay, the reason why is because we realized that it is not a 1 + 1 = 2. So if the 4 wire sounds good, it doesn't mean that the 8 wires will sound good. So we've often encountered when the 4 became the 8, it sounds horrible, disastrous even. So there's a lot of work we need to put into to design the 8 wires as though it's a new product, which is why like one of our oldest products, Iliad, there's no 8 wires yet because we have the prototype, but it sounds disastrous at the moment for the 8. So by having it in the 8, it's not an advantage itself. So this is something that really inspires us because back when we were not with Alutech, we thought that everything, more wires is better, but it's apparently not the case. So with the Virtues itself, 2023 Virtues itself, we wanted to bring across, we were talking about the hardware over here. We were trying to bring across the old Virtues in terms of the design language, but we wanted it something to be more elegant, to be smaller, to be something that is more ergonomics, which is why we brought over the geometry cuts, the triangular geometry cuts, but we added more detail to it. On the plug itself, we actually shrunk the entire design. We put it to the middle of the barrel itself, and everything is smaller, but it looks more elegant itself. Yeah, that's for the hardware. On the cable parts itself, we have 3 Virtues that are coming up. So with the copper itself, we wanted to bring across something that is energetic, that's warm, but it still have the highs, which copper usually loses. With the Casella, we wanted something that is really energetic, but still having the silver resolution, but not the peak traveling sibilance. And then there's also the Raphael. The Raphael was actually a product that was designed not for Virtues, it was for a higher series. So we actually we thought about it to thank our fans and customers itself. So we actually brought the Raphael down into the Virtues series. Yeah. Raphael is something that is highly musicality, has high musicality itself. So it is something that our customers has always asked us for, gold-plated silver, gold-plated copper. Yeah, so Raphael itself, it actually brings across a rosy tint to the music itself. It's like wearing sunshades, all in the sun. So it's something that is very evocative, emotive itself. Raphael itself, we use a traditional gold-plated copper, but the problem with gold-plated copper is that it often fuzzles up in the mid-range to the mid-high, so it's a little bit too gooey. Everything is stuck together. Nice, but a bit too, too gooey. So with that, we tried to mitigate that with using gold copper alloy as some of the cores itself to actually balance out the sweetness of the cable itself. So Raphael, initially we actually developed Raphael for School of Athens. Yeah, so it was supposed to be the next product after School of Athens between Socrates and Plato. Yeah, so we actually trickle it down back to Virtues itself. So yeah. If we have to put it down, I think the Azure is good for something that is that needs a little bit more warmth. Something that means the earphone is pretty clean sounding, so you want something more warm, something fun, and slightly more resolution. I think Azure is something for that. Cassiel is something that if your IEM is warm enough but lacks the energy, the spark, the dynamics of it, then I think the Cassiel, sorry, it's perfect for something like that. So it actually brings up the entire presentation. Raphael is something that it is, like I said, it's like a rosy tint to it, so it adds a lot of fun. It's like filter, Instagram filter. So it's something that adds a lot of fun to the music itself, as well as the power. So other than this year, we're actually working on a few interesting projects itself. So we will keep you guys in suspense for now. We should have them ready in time, I hope, for Hong Kong AZ show. So that should be interesting. It's so good to be over here in Hong Kong again. We've not been here since 2019. We'd like to thank our friends and customers over here in Hong Kong that has been giving us feedback so we may improve our products along the line. So continue giving us your support as well as your feedbacks so we may improve and bring you better products. And look forward to seeing you guys in the August Hong Kong show. 8月香港 AV show